Hey everybody, thanks for taking the time to jump onto this little video that we provided for our latest release of PROtrade. So this is release 4.5.3. And as you may have seen in the announcements, this is one of the most exciting PROtrade updates that we've had so far, and we're anticipating more coming here in the next few months. But with this release, we're rolling out what we've called the presets feature. So really encourage you to just take a few minutes, this won't be long, just to see how these work, because we think this could really be a big add to how you can progress through your projects. Really, no matter how you're using PROtrade, the presets feature could be very useful to you. So with no further ado, I'm going to jump in here and kind of take you through some of those areas. Along the way, I'll just point out a few other updates that aren't necessarily new in this release, but if you haven't updated in a while, these would be some other features that, again, may be very useful to you as well. So first of all, just really quick here, if you haven't noticed it, haven't used this feature so far, start a project feature is right here. If that's new to you, I encourage you to take advantage of that. But I'm just going to start a quick project here so I can demo the feature for you. We'll call this our example job. We'll click start. And it's going to open our project up here. Now, another feature, if you come over to the Add Pages button, instead of adding in PDFs, which of course would be your typical thing, but if you ever just have a simple job that you just need to collect, almost just to draw it, you can always add a blank page. So I'm going to right-click here, choose Add a Blank Page. Add this into our project. So we've got that here. So we just have some blank space to draw on, pretty much the same as using a PDF, but just have that blank space to work with. You can also right click on a page and choose to add a grid. It makes it easier to work with. So I'm going to draw in an area here. Maybe just I'm taking off some square footage of wood flooring. And yet another feature that's new, not really in this release, but relatively recently, is the ability to draw with the keyboard. So I'm going to start my little area right here. And I'm going to, on my keyboard, hit the arrow to the right, and that allows me to type in a distance. So I'm going to say 20 feet, and I'll hit the down arrow on the keyboard and go down 10, and then over 20 again. So I can quickly draw in a box or a shape. So this would be whether you're using a plan or if you're just drawing on some grid paper like this, can be a handy tool being able to draw with the keyboard. So be aware that that feature is available as well. But once we've got it, now I can make settings with this particular tool how I want it. So I'm going to set the application for this to be wood flooring. And I'm going to add the edge to this container so I can get the perimeter. And I'm going to say the edge application is base trim. And then I'll also go on to say what the edge product is. So I've got 3 inch by 10 foot prime trim running around the outside. And then I'll also pick an area product as well. So I'll go here and look at my list, and I'll pick some 5 inch hand scraped oak flooring. Click OK. Now, of course, I could have labeled them over here if you're not used to using products, but if there's products that you use on a regular basis, and as what you're calling, really simple to add those into the database that you can create of your own. But now I've created and I've set the properties the way I like this particular container for my base trim and wood flooring. And if this is something that I use fairly regularly, as I call, or if something that's very close to this, what I can do is I can right click on this now, and this is the presets feature. I can choose to save this as a preset. So I'll just call this my 5 inch wood flooring with trim preset. Click OK. And now that gets saved up here. Now up here in the takeoff item, or in the takeoff tool here, you can see that we've got this area tool, and we've got this little circle, or rather this little triangle here at the lower right hand corner. And anytime you see a little triangle on one of the toolbars, that means on one of the buttons, it means that you can right click on it to get further options. So for example, even over here on this page crop feature, since I have a little triangle, if I right click, I can also do a custom shape crop. So that's true for several of these other features. But in this case, with the area tool, since I've added a preset, I've got this little triangle. So if I right click, instead of left clicking, I right click on it to get my preset option. And so then if I was to go and draw this now, I'm gonna get not just a plain old area, but I'm gonna get an area or a container that has all of those particular settings to it. Similar things can be done for segments. So let's just say here I draw more edge segments like this. So I draw a segment line that's basically trim. So here I've got trim right here. And I can set this segment to be just that. That way I can, so I'll say this as preset and I'll call this my 3-inch wood trim. And now here in my segment, instead of left clicking to get to standard segment behavior, I can right click and get that 3-inch wood trim. So that would allow me to go into, draw in a piece of wood trim in the locations that I might want it. So again, that's just kind of a quick start to the things that you do frequently, rather than having to go and manually set all those individual components. They're just there for you to use. So in addition to this preset feature being available for your takeoff tools, this is also available for other things like your markup items. A simple example of this might be highlighter. If I left click and do a highlighter, it comes up as yellow typically. But let's say that I like to use green and blue and other colors from time to time, just so that I can mark the plan up different ways. So I can set this to green, and now I can save this as a preset. I'll just call this green highlighter. So where are these presets then where you can manage them is over in the database tab over here. So we're going to pause from our plan view right here and come over to the database. While we're on the way, I'll just point out something else here is that, again, might be new to you if it's been a while since you've updated. We have the ability to control your generic application colors. So even as you just draw your standard, pink lines, or your segment lines, and they used to come up always as pink. Now you can control if they're an auto color that just rotates through different colors, or if you want them to be a specific color. So you have controls over that now. And then you can also add in your own applications like you've seen me do here. Same with products. But here we have this new presets tab in this location. And any of the presets I created will show up here under their different categories. So I have one in each category here, since that's all I've created for them. But a final thing you can do besides deleting them is you can choose to set a particular preset to be a default. So you can see when I come to highlighter and I mouse over it, it has the option for set as default. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for the green highlighter. You'll notice that it turns bold, indicating that it is the default. And what that means is whenever you go then to use the tool, just the standard highlighter tool, you're going to get this preset behavior. So let's just pop back over to the plan to see what that does. So previously, when we came to the highlighter tool and we left clicked it to just draw an area, so I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to left click it just so I can draw my highlighter. Previously, I would have gotten yellow behavior, but because we've set this as green as default, now I'm going to get green as my default. So you can use presets to change just the standard behavior for any of these tools up here as well. Now, since these are saved into your database, which then becomes available to you throughout your upcoming projects, so what I can do then these presets are going to be available to you without any further saving needing to be done. So I'm going to come here and go to File, and I'm going to save my job, and I'll just close out of this one. And let's create a new one here. So I'm going to go File and New, and we'll call this our new release project. And we'll start the project. So that gets us here. And again, we'll just add a blank page. But now when I come up here into the toolbar, you'll see, again, even though I'm in a brand new project, I have those presets available to me. So I can come here to my area, and I could left click to get the standard behavior, or I could right click and get the 5-inch wood flooring with trim preset. And when I draw that in, then I get everything that's set to that with the 3-inch 3-inch by 10-foot prime trim around the outside, and then the 5-inch hand scrape oak flooring there taking up the center. So that's a quick overview of presets. And you can imagine lots of different ways that you might leverage that, again, to save you steps, save you clicks there as you work on your projects going forward. So encourage you to make use of that new feature, and we'll look forward to other feedback that you might have for us on how we can make things better. And you can either call us or chat with us to do that, or we also have right here in ProTrade, we have the give feedback button. You can open that up and just send in that feedback directly to us. So always happy to see how we can be improving things for you guys, our users out there. Thanks again for joining us today. So again, that latest release is 4.5.3. So we look forward to having you update to that. Thanks so much. You guys have a good rest of your day.